Look, I'm unstoppable. Forget your defense, nothing but an obstacle. Run it back, switch it up, call it audible. Serving up them Hail Marys till the game over with the showstopper. So hot, you gotta blow on it. I said I'll huff and I'll puff, then I'll pass to my left while I'm looking to my right. Hit him right in the chest. It be looking like magic, better give me the throne. I ain't talking about Patrick, but I rep my home. I'm never at the end of my zone. I'm bad to the bone, eating up these pigs.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Texans Fan Battle Podcast. I'm your host today, Matthew Briggs. With me, as always, I have my A1 since day one, Crenshaw. Say what's up to the folks.
What up, though?
And big day for the Texans, big news. So we had to bring in a special guest from the Texans Unfiltered. We have James. Say what's up going on to the guys.
Hey, what's going on? I'm glad to be able to be on this show. I've never done this show, so I'm super stoked. Crenshaw, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a little pissed off that you haven't asked before, considering we interact on an almost daily basis here. But that's fine.
Hey man, you're a busy man, man. You're a busy man.
I always got time.
We're excited for you to be here. So we're definitely gonna have to do this more than once.
Yeah, absolutely.
So kind of jumping into it, Black Monday happened. A lot of coaches got fired. Brian Flores being one of them. And then all of a sudden, Texans announced today that the head coach, David Coley, gone. I'll start with James, with you. How you feel about this? What's your take?
Yeah, I mean, it makes the most sense for where the team's at. What Nick's trying to accomplish. There was a lot of things discussed, and this is something that's been going on in the building since October. They've talked about this, and I think they were doing what took them so long was they were taking the time to kind of figure out if there was a path forward, and if there was, what does that path look like? What support is needed? What can we do from a management perspective, from a coaching perspective, from a personnel perspective to best support Coley? And is that going to lead us to the results that they're looking for? Or, is it time to move forward and find our a Patriots guy? And looks like that's where we're at. So, I mean, it makes sense. Coley wasn't a great coach. He wasn't a bad coach. He wasn't a bad coach. It's kind of hard because you got to remember, like this, he was basically a rookie head coach, right? Yeah, he's been coaching for 26 years, but never had the opportunity for game management, time management, scheming, understanding the game plans on defense and offense and implementing those and approving them and managing a coaching staff and then managing an entire 53, man roster. Like there's just a lot that goes into it. And when you actually break it down into that and you look at this roster and you look at the Texans team in general, he really outperformed, in my opinion, what the expectations were for Coley. But at the end of the day, it was time because Nick has his guy and he's going to go get him. And then at that point, you can't delay it much longer. So he had to go. There's a reason why, David took this job. I mean, it's a known thing within, throughout the league. So it makes sense. It sucks for, to have to be the fall guy at the end of the day. But when you're making $22 million, right. You can make me the fall guy as many times as you want.
Right. As long as I get that paycheck.
That's right. Yeah. Don't involve hurting my kids or my wife. And outside of that, we're pretty much good.
Right. Oh, most definitely. Chris, what do you got for the folks? What do you say?
Yeah, I feel the same way. He wasn't the guy for us. We knew it was just a 1-year deal with him, but people were just going to make it a big thing because it's the Texans doing it. I don't see how what we did today is worse than what Miami did with Flores, but of course it's us. It's going to be a big deal. He had a lot of questionable calls throughout the year that all three of us has pointed out numerous of times. Clock management, accepting calls that shouldn't be accepted. But at the end of the day, like James said, he's getting his money, so he'd be all right.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. The only thing that he really brought to the table as coaching wise was the locker room. Everywhere I read and interviews I've seen, they say he's a real locker room guy. All the players loved him. He was a good guy. So I hate to see that, but when you don't have no experience, man, it is it is time to go. But like James said, 22 million, you kick me out the door too. I mean, I have my bags packed for you. So
100%.
But here's another Marcus Spears and quite a few other people upset about Coley being the setup guy to fail. Do y'all agree? Was he set up to fail? Was it what was it? I'll start off with you, James. Was he set up to fail, or is everybody throwing this out of proportion?
I mean, it's when things like this happen, it's very easy to be able to be the one that throws the first stone, right? And kind of pile on to a narrative that's been built for. I mean, how long have they been trashing the organization, right? Like, it's not just locally, okay? I mean, there are segments on a daily basis for the last 18 months that have just been, burying this team. So it's the easy thing to do. And so was he set up to fail? I don't know. I don't know how you set up a guy to fail after paying him $22 million. Like they went into it knowing it was a 1 to 2 year thing. And they still made sure that the gentleman was taken care of, which means that they respected him. And there's no way in any form or fashion anybody could tell me that David Coley didn't have an understanding of what that was either. 28 years in the league, never interviewed for a head coaching position, never had an opportunity as an OC, and out of nowhere was just given a head coaching job. Like, come on. He knows. Like, he knew when he got the call before he even talked to him. Like, oh, I see what's happening here. And it's not hard. So was he set up to fail? No, I don't think he was set up to fail. I think he was set up to be the guy that kind of got us through a tumultuous year, handle everything that was going on with Deshaun Watson, try to build some culture within the locker room with some of the 1 year vets that they sign, see if they can develop some guys, find some long-term guys, develop the rookies. And all of those things were accomplished this year, right? I mean, you got Desmond King you found in free agency, Gruger Hill, Malik Collins,
Pierre Lewis. I mean,
Pierre Lewis. And then in the draft, who?
I said Christian Kirksey.
Yeah, Kirksey. Kirksey was a find. I don't know if he's a long-term find, but he was definitely a player, right? So, and then Tavir Thomas. There's another secondary player. I'm trying to think of his name. Not Tavir Thomas, the corner. Terrence Mitchell.
Smith. Mitchell.
Oh, Smith too. Trayvon Smith, right?
Yeah. And I liked Owens. I thought Owens deserves more playing time too. I mean, he did a fantastic.
He played well. And then you look at the rookies, all of them developed, right? Like the only one that we can say we don't know for sure is Garrett Wallow, but he had a great game against the Jaguars. I think he set the record, right, for most tackles by a Texans linebacker, right? So, no matter how you feel about Mills, he hit on Mills. Whether he's a franchise guy or not, it's a separate conversation, but he's going to be a backup in this league for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
So he hit on that pick. He hit on Lopez. He hit on Jordan.
Lopez.
He hit on Collins. Like the dude hit on, and they developed him. Every player made an impact play at some point this year. Lopez is a starting defensive tackle.
Oh yeah,
found in the 6th round, right? So I think Coley did what he was supposed to do. I'm not going to say he was set up for failure, and I think it was just time for them to realize that the 67-year-old coach isn't going to be a part of the future, and I honestly think that's all it boils down to. I think they took care of him, and he knew that, and now we're here.
See, the way I see it was that he was brought in for, like you said, to help, the players and produce some, rookies. But he was also help for Deshaun Watson. They were trying to make a bridge for Watson. He was a Watson guy. It didn't happen. Beginning of the year, he said Deshaun Watson is going to be a starting quarterback. He didn't start one game. So, I mean, once you feel at the reason why you're brought in, sorry, man, it's time to go. I appreciate you being here, but, thank you, but not, but no thank you.
Right.
Crenshaw, what do you think?
Yeah, I feel like they brought him in just like the Astros brought in Dusty Baker. A guy that's a yes man, because that's definitely what Cully is. He's a yes man. He didn't hire his own staff, so right there should have told the world that he wasn't going to be here long. He didn't hire his own staff. Set up to fail? Nah. I don't think that's right. But like I said, they're gonna say whatever because it's the Texans or whatever. But I just hope they have the same energy when no other team hired this guy. Have that same energy. Like come at those teams too. Like why y'all didn't hire Cully? But they're not gonna do that though. So that's
Well,
my
I
thing
mean,
on that.
let's be honest. No real high-profile coach was going to come here and take this job with knowing what's going on with Deshaun Watson. It was just the Texans was kind of a dark area for
Uncertainty.
coaching staff, So at least we gave him a shot.
Yeah.
He didn't
Well,
pan
yeah,
out.
he got
So,
film.
right. So now that we're without a head coach, who's it going to be? Chris, I'll start off with you. Who you think's going to be? There's a lot of rumors going around.
There's a lot of rumors going around. I know I don't want no Gerard Mayo to be the coach. He could be my DC, but I don't want to be the head coach. But I'm hoping it's Flores, and I'm hoping the Pelp is OC. Maybe. I'm not really too big on him as the OC because I'm trying to figure out when he was OC with the Colts, he had Andrew Luck, so it's really not hard to make him be good. But I'm going with Flores all the way. Because he's a strong guy, kind of like Bill O'Brien. Just hope he don't have the same power as Bill O'Brien, but I think Nick is going to put him in his place, and could be a beautiful thing.
All right, James, what do you think?
So, are we going to go off who we want or who we think?
Both.
Let's do both.
Okay, I want Flores, but we're getting Mayo.
You think so?
I do.
Okay.
I do. It's going to be either Mayo or McDaniels. Yeah.
You don't think there's a shot in the dark we get Flores?
No.
Nope.
Nope.
It's disappointing to hear. I think every Texan fan is
and that's just opinion, like a straight opinion, not off of anything or that I've heard or nothing. I honestly haven't heard much about any of this stuff, so I honestly don't know. But I do know that it will be a Patriot for sure. And I honestly don't believe it's going to be Flores. I think Nick's somewhat playing checkers or chess instead of checkers, while David and Deshaun and Brian are playing checkers. I think that I think they know what the Flores piece means as far as what value they get back for Deshaun. I can't see a scenario where Deshaun plays here, even if Flores is here. I can't. And like, even if I take like my hate for the quitter that he is, if I take that out 100%, right? I can't see Janice and Cal just being okay with bringing back a guy who shit on an entire organization for a year, used every single mouthpiece in the media possible to trash the organization and make them look bad, and then release those Jack Easterby pieces to SI, and then on top of that to have these allegations that are happening. I think that's just too much for the owners to swallow. Like, even if he apologizes, they're already talking about settlement. So it's obvious that they're going to settle. They're not going to go to court. So he's not going to be proved innocent. So in the court of public opinion, if you settle, you're looked at as guilty. How do you make that guy a franchise piece moving forward? How do you make that the face? And on top of that, Janice and Bob, they've done a lot of stuff, a lot of philanthropy work with women and abuse centers and a lot of things when it comes to some of the things that women go through in this life. And I can't see her signing off on being okay with this guy being our quarterback. I just can't. So I think
that's a perfect segue because I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just can't see it. And I think Flo is the piece. That was the piece that was David and Flo are like best friends, literally. Like they are super close. And that's what started the whole South Beach thing. And wherever Flo goes, the goal is to get Deshaun to where he's at. David wants, the reason why it was perfect in Miami was there was a black general manager, a black head coach, and possibly a black quarterback. That was extremely enticing to David. Whether you agree that's right or wrong, I understand David's political ties and the aspects to it. I understand what he's trying to do, and I agree with everything he's trying to do. But at the end of the day, that was really the motivating factor. Now, all they have is Flo. So where is he going to go? And I think you have to keep an eye on that because that's ultimately where Deshaun's going to end up wanting to go.
Right.
So he won't be here. I can't see it. I'm not going to say he's not going to be here because crazier things have happened. And he has that no trade clause, so he can easily just be like, no, I'm staying. So
right. And just sit on the bench and collect millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah. I do think that they paid him $10 million so he could settle, though. I really do. Because they know that they'll get more value for him if he does settle.
That could be it. I mean, I why not?
Yeah.
Help him get out the door. So
get it out the door, and then your value goes up, right? I mean, your value is going to go up once the allegations are gone. So,
all right.
So basically, you could see them possibly New York Giants then with Flores and Deshaun and
Giants,
New York Giants.
Giants or Broncos.
Giants or Broncos. Okay, so if it's Giants, what kind of comp you need for Deshaun, and if it's Broncos, same question.
Yeah, with the Giants, it's going to be hard to get a lot more because of where their 2 first-round picks are this year. I think a lot of people have to take into consideration like those picks are top 10 picks.
Mm-hmm.
So that's different than like getting 3 first rounds and 2 twos, right? Like you're basically almost guaranteeing yourself 2 impact players out the gate.
Mm-hmm.
So I would assume
so three in total.
Well, 3 in total, counting ours, right? Yeah. But 2 from the trade for Deshaun. Right. I want to try to keep those separate so that way people don't get confused because there's a lot here. It's like so many different moving pieces. So 2 impact players from the Giants in the first round. You're getting the 7th and the 9th pick. I would assume you'd probably get a 2nd round pick, and maybe like either a starter on defense or another first in the future. But you have to understand there's a couple things to that. One, you have to understand how impactful that is for the Giants, right? They're basically shooting their load immediately. And the rebuild with Deshaun can happen a lot faster than if it was to a Miami, a Denver, or a Carolina, because they're unloading all their draft picks right at the beginning. So that means in the following years, they're not gonna lack the draft capital to be able to build and add pieces around Deshaun Watson. When you're trading for Deshaun Watson, you're trading for the 10 to 15 years he's going to be in the NFL. You're not trading for just the contract terms. You're trading to have him be your franchise guy for the remainder of his career. Right. And that gives them the opportunity to build a lot quicker around Deshaun Watson. Philly's the only other team that could potentially do that, but I don't think Philly's going to do it. I can't see them. I think they like Hurts enough. Denver, they don't have a ton of draft capital. So, it would be very similar. Like them and the Panthers would be very similar. 3 firsts, 2 twos, a starter here and a starter there, I would assume would be what that looks like. But I think another factor that a lot of people just aren't talking about is where does Bill O'Brien go? So, like, does Bill O'Brien go to Carolina as the offensive coordinator in a situation where he could likely become the head coach after a season? North Carolina, Carolina's not far from Gainesville, which is where Deshaun grew up. Deshaun's favorite quarterback all time is Cam Newton. Like, Bill O'Brien, I think, could play a piece here.
Now, I mean, not to say Matt Rule can still get the boot, can you not? I mean, he can still get the head coaching spot if they get him out of Carolina, right?
What's that?
If Carolina gives Matt Rule the boot, I mean, that'll open the job for O'Brien and bring in Tim Kelly.
Yep.
Sweeten the deal even more.
Well, and Deshaun loves Bill O'Brien. I I mean, that is his father in a sense of like what the relationship he has with Bill O'Brien. So, I don't know. I think there's still a lot of
why do he love him so much though?
because he taught him how to play quarterback from the pocket.
Mm.
Okay.
So basically, that's basically what he said on the interview that they did after they fired him. He said he taught me a lot and everything. And okay,
I mean,
so
Bill O'Brien was always good with Deshaun. I mean, they've always had a good relationship. They always talked. They were always very supportive. Deshaun's right there grabbing him in the tunnel when he's cussing out a fan. Like they have a relationship. I mean, after the 24-0 blowout loss to the Chiefs, like Deshaun was very definitive, and that's my coach. I don't care what you guys say or right.
Yeah,
he loves Bill O'Brien. After his rookie year, when Bill O'Brien's contract was up, there were tweets from Deshaun like bring OB back, and that's right, keep OB with me forever, whatever it was. Like there's a lot of love. There's a lot of love there.
So is that kind of what started the whole downfall of Watson's when we got rid of O'Brien, huh?
That's what kicked it. That's what kicked it off. 100%.
So basically, all the Jack Easterby stuff is just capped in.
Well, I think so. I think Jack definitely had a part in the bad contracts, and I think Bill wanted to trade DeAndre, and Jack's never done that before, and probably negotiated a bad trade. But there's so many other things. Like Bill O'Brien didn't even want to be general manager. Like he was forced to be general manager.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Like Cal came to him, and there's an article. I think it's Peter King. I think he finally put it out like a year ago, where Bill didn't ask to be general manager. Cal told him he was going to be general manager. Didn't give him a raise. Didn't give him a promotion. Nothing. It was, this is it. This is your year. You figure it out. And so you got to think when that stuff happens. Like I guarantee you, the relationship with Deshaun and Bill. Like Deshaun knew everything that was going on from Bill's mouth. So. Everything that he was feeling about the franchise and the organization and all that. And then they fire him. And it's like, oh, nope, that's it. Like, you just fired my guy. I'm done. I'm done here. And then when you have the most powerful agent in the NFL, it helps.
Right. I mean, he's done this not multiple times, but a couple of times.
Right.
So if they would have got Nick Caserio back then, do you think things would be different now? You think Deshaun still want to stay here? You think D-Hop will still be here? Or you think everything is still happening the same way?
I had this exact conversation Sunday when I was tailgating. On the day that we tried to get Nick Caserio the first time, if we would have gotten him, this entire organization would be in a completely different situation. Maybe we trade D-Hop, but we get the value back. All the bad contracts that were given out, the Zachs, the Whitneys, things of that nature, that would have never happened. And Deshaun, all that stuff, all the allegations and stuff, not to say that this should happen. They definitely shouldn't be swept under the rug. But I think Deshaun would have been protected. And I think it would have been handled to where it never got out. And we'd be having another conversation right now than what we're having.
Right. We'd be enjoying the playoffs.
Correct.
Yeah. Right. Now, Flores has been linked to Chicago Bears. Do you see a possible Deshaun Watson to Chicago?
I can't. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Did they got rid of their GM too, right? Yeah, they did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, got rid of GM. Yeah.
Anything's possible. We've seen what? It's been 2 years, 2 times where we've seen first-round quarterbacks or second-year quarterbacks that were first-round picks. Josh Rosen, and I don't know. I forgot the other quarterback. Sam Darnold. I mean, it happens all the time, right? So if the coaching staff doesn't believe in the quarterback, it could happen. But Chicago would be a great place for Deshaun, marketing-wise. That'd be a pretty cool little thing, but I don't know if they'd be willing to move on from Justin Fields yet.
I think that would help Justin Fields too in the long run. Have him learn from, Deshaun Watson.
develop a little bit. I mean, him and Justin have a great relationship. I believe David's his agent. I think they share the same agent. So yeah, I mean, it would definitely be beneficial from a developmental perspective and a relationship perspective.
No. Okay. Well. Do you see Deshaun? I know you don't want Deshaun playing, but do you see him at all suiting up for the Texans next year?
Do I see Deshaun suiting up for us?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I don't want him to.
I don't either.
What was that, James?
I just can't see it. There's just no way. Unless he comes out, he goes to court, wins the battle, comes back, has the same type of energy he had when he signed his contract, and apologizes to the city of Houston and the organization. I think his pride is way too big. I can't see him swallowing that. His favorite athlete all time is Kobe Bryant. I can't see him doing what Kobe did when he cheated on Vanessa. I can't see him just taking it in the chin and moving on. I can't. He's too young. He's got the wrong people around him, and I just can't. I can't.
Are you in the same mindset as us that a lot of this is agent driven, or
I would say 100. I would say 80 to 90% of it is agent driven.
Yeah, I agree.
So think about it like this, right? So I'm in tech sales, so I kind of have a little bit of an understanding. It's a little different, but if you have a great territory in tech sales, you can make a lot of money, right? It's all about if you cover the Bay Area where all the startups are, and you sell a good product, you're going to make a shit ton of money, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So Deshaun is Google at its early stages of its startup. If you can get him to New York, imagine what those endorsement deals look like, right? That agent gets a percentage of all of the endorsement deals that Deshaun signs. Right. Now think about Houston. Not to shit on the city I love, but it's not New York. It's not LA. It's not Chicago. It's not any of those. It's not Seattle. It's none of the places that you would Florida. Like it's not a place where you would want to go to be marketed. Then you look at the organizational history, not a ton of success, right? So if you were David, wouldn't you ideally want a top 5 quarterback in the biggest market possible to be able to sign those awesome Gatorade deals and those crazy Ciroc, beats and do all the things that Colin Kaepernick was doing in San Francisco, ideally, and as a black quarterback, right? Which I think is important here to really put him on a level where he can get his worth. And so, 100%. I think it's a lot of agent driven. And like I said, he just has bad people around him. The lady's lawyer reached out to him. Ashley Solis's lawyer reached out to him to do a settlement and ask for $100K. And had he had done that, there probably wouldn't have been any other allegations, and he wouldn't be in the situation he's in. But he declined that because he's surrounded by dummies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's surrounded by idiots.
Kind of like Mike Tyson back in the day.
100%. It's very similar. Yeah. Very similar. Look at what Mike's having to do now. He has to work so much because he had idiots around him. Yeah. Deshaun is in a very similar situation. He just forfeited $10 million. He's paying Rusty Hardin probably $10 to $20 million for what's going on. He's going to have to pay $10 to $15 million or even more for his settlements. So there's all his guaranteed money from his deal gone. He lost his endorsement deals with Nike and Gatorade.
I'm about to say he just lost his endorsements and everything.
Dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? And it's because he doesn't have the right people around him. And it sucks. It really does. It really sucks. When you break it down and you go all the way to the bottom, it's a shitty situation for a young kid who has a ton of talent that came from nowhere and had an opportunity to truly make a totally different lifestyle than he would have ever dreamed of. And you had a selfish agent in his face guiding him down the wrong path. It's sad. And it happens a lot. Yeah. It happens a lot.
Yeah. That I've heard a lot of stories of what you were saying. The NFL has tried to make programs to help people come out of college, but once they get your fingers in you, it's over. It's hook, line, and sinker. And it like Mike Tyson, it ruined his career in the long run. So hopefully hopefully that doesn't happen to Watson. You know, I mean, I hate what he did to my city, to
100%.
my team, but I don't wish anything ill towards the guy. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a business for him too.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
though he did it poorly, I get it. Well, James, where do you see Bill O'Brien going?
Oh, I don't know. If he doesn't get the Jacksonville head coaching job, then either he gets an OC job or he goes back to Alabama and does it for one more year, wins the national title, and the full rebrand is on, and he can do what he wants to do. And he'll have opportunities. He's not going to stay in college forever. If you think about it, like, he really wasn't a terrible head coach. Where the fans turned their back on him was when he took over personnel, and you can't be mad at the fans for turning their back on him at that point because there was so much talent shipped out with a lack of value.
Yeah.
But if you just look at only the coaching, I mean, what the guy did from the first year he got here to what he did when he finally got to Sean, yeah, the blowout loss, that sucks. But, outside of that, I mean, he really was an above average coach. I think it's totally fair. I would say he was a good coach, not a great coach. How about that?
Yeah, it just the offense was real stale. That was my
stale
problem.
And inconsistent, right? Like, it was, you'd have weeks where you light it up, and then you'd have a week where what was that? What, 2019, when we didn't have a one opening series or one first quarter TD. It was one first quarter touchdown,
and that was with the backup.
And then in week 18, who was it? Tom Savage or
no? AJ McCarron.
AJ McCarron. So those are the type of shits that happen. But I don't know where he'll go. I don't know. I'd like to see him in Jacksonville. I'm a big proponent of Bill. I'll be the first one to admit it. Like, I understand shaded glasses. I had a relationship with him early on when I started my podcast. Like, he came on my show when I was a nobody.
Awesome.
So it is awesome, because to me, that tells me the type of character and person he is. He didn't have to come and at that time, we had 400 listeners, no YouTube channel. Like, it was straight fandom. But he took the time out of his day on a Friday to come talk to me for 20 minutes because he knew it was important to me. So he's forever going to have a place in my heart, just because that doesn't happen. And then you think about his son, Jack, and all that stuff like that. It's just, he's just a good dude. He's competitive, but he was portrayed to be a dickhead, and I don't think that's actually who he is. And so I'd love to see him in Jacksonville, because I think he'd do great. I think he'd be great with Trevor. I don't know if Trent Baalke is going to help, but I'd like to see him in Jacksonville.
Now let Tim Kelly go with him if he does get
Trevor. There we go.
Yep. So Tim Kelly does go with him?
No, I have no idea.
You don't think so?
I mean, maybe. I mean, he found Tim somewhere. I don't know where he found him at. I think it was St. Mary's or whatever it was, but nah, I can't see it.
Well, Sunday, we played the Titans, lost 28-25. James, but real quick before we leave, what was your take on the game?
First half was miserable. I think the first half was David Coley's season in 2 quarters. Second half, I think that was more about showing what we have the potential to do and be. If we have the right pieces around Mills. Do I think Davis Mills is the franchise guy for the next 15 years? I don't know. I'm not going to be one of those guys that says for sure yes, for sure no, because it's hard to see what Davis Mills is.
Too many variables. Too many variables.
Yeah, I mean, you had bad play calling, bad offensive line, no run game. Like, it's hard for a quarterback to succeed in those types of situations. So for anybody to say that they know he's not and to know he is, you can't. There's not enough of a sample size. We know that in the Patriots game, or in the Charger game, when he had a run game, he looked unbeatable.
Yeah.
He looked unbeatable. So that's a positive sign, right? When you can run the ball, go for 150 yards, give him some weapons, he's gonna be all right.
And you can also say if he had a coaching staff, he would have beat the Titans. I mean,
Yeah, or beat the Patriots, right? He should have beat the Patriots for sure. Should have beat the Patriots.
Or in the Panthers. I mean, there's a lot of games he said.
There's a lot of games. We should have beat the Jets. We should have beat Miami with Tyrod. I mean, it's a lot of wins we left out there.
Should have beat the Browns.
Should have beat the Browns. Yeah.
So
yeah, could have had like 8-9 wins.
Right. So I think he's shown enough to give him a shot. I'm not a big proponent of like bringing in a competition for him. And the reason why I don't want to is I want him to take every snap possible. I don't want him splitting any reps, any snaps. He should just give him the rope, let him see what he can do. If he can't do it, well, then, you got to find another quarterback. But you would have to do that anyways if you'd split reps and he found out he wasn't the guy. So might as well give him the best opportunity to succeed. Defense looks okay, looks better. Malik Collins was a great find. I doubt we'll be able to keep him, but I thought the defense really outperformed my expectations.
I don't think we have a bad defense at all. I just think that they're on the field too long.
Yeah,
and they get burnt out.
Yeah,
and when you can't run the ball, that's going to happen.
Right, exactly.
When you're averaging 2.8 yards a carry, I mean, there's just nothing you can do, right?
We go from 3 takeaways last year to what was it, 22 this year?
Something crazy.
Yeah, it's a big difference. So I like the way it's going. I hate that we do have a coaching change because that most likely means Lovie Smith is gone, and I thought Lovie Smith did a fantastic job as the DC. So I hate to see that part, but sometimes it's just the name of the game.
Yeah, I would agree.
Grimshaw, what do you thought about the game?
Well, first, I'm mad that me and James had never saw each other at the game.
Bro, you didn't hit me.
So that's on me right there. You gotta change that next season. But yeah, it looked like first half of the Rams game, dead in the water. I was ready to go home. I'm like, man, I'm about to go. But then second half, they came out blazing, up tempo. And then David Culley say, "Well, this is the way we should have been playing all year." I'm like, damn, it took you that long to figure that out. See, comments like that is why he's not here anymore.
That's right.
But yeah, like James said, get this man a run game. I'm hoping they can hit on a running back in the draft. Like I said, I don't think he's a franchise guy, but he could be a serviceable guy. And I hope they could get this West Coast offense for him, or a zone blocking offense, something in the matchup, like, make him get out there, get the ball out of his hand real fast or something like that. But
yeah, I think he would help with the bootlegs as well. I mean, he's not very fast, but he does. I mean, he ran the ball a couple times.
He's faster than Sean at a 40 time.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't know that. Well, real quick, here's a comment. What happens to Lovey? What does he stay at DC? Is he gone?
I think it all boils down to who the head coach is. I think there's a reason why they fired Tim Kelly, right? They wanted to make sure the fan base and everybody else knew Tim Kelly wasn't here. They didn't fire. They haven't said anything else about the other coaches. So, I think there's a chance Lovey's here. But, it all depends on, is he able to get his guy? And if he gets his guy, is he going to want to let him choose his own coaching staff? Is it going to be Gerard Mayo, who first year head coach, only been a linebackers coach and really hasn't had opportunity to build a network of coaches to come here to Houston himself? So is Nick going to have to help with the hiring of that? I think there's too many variables to be able to say for sure that Lovey's back. But I also think it's hard for Nick and the staff and upper management to ignore what Lovey's done so far. And you have to think if you're able to get him a pass rush, that defense can be even better. So I think it'll be hard to not bring Lovey back.
Plus, he made a resume for himself. He might get a head coaching job. I mean, he did, like I said, he did a fantastic job with the Texans with the roster he was given. So, I mean, there was no real superstar on the Texans. I mean, that's fair to say, right?
Yeah.
On the defense side.
Yep.
And I mean, top 10 into the DVOA. Turn the turnovers differential completely around. So Like I said, I hope he stays, but who knows? Crenshaw, you think he stays?
Depend on the coach. Depend on the coach, whoever they hire, because
I agree.
if one is guy, Lovey's gone, and of course, if Lovey gets fired, they're gonna act like it's the end of the world. They act like Tampa Bay didn't fire him as well. So I'm ready for that right there. But I hope he stays though. I hope the new coach could like, hey, keep him there. Let me handle my side.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna wrap it up, but before we do, James, at every game we do a hot take for next game. So let's do a hot take for this offseason. Let's start with you, James. What's your hot take? Your bold prediction of this offseason? What's going to happen?
I think that hot take. I think that. Oh, that's a good one. I don't do hot takes very well. I do what I think, and maybe some people take them as hot takes, and they don't. But I think I think they move on from Deshaun. I don't think Deshaun comes back to the city and takes a snap. I think they get a haul for him, and I think that the Texans are in a much better place once that happens to be able to really build a team. And I think they're on the right path. I think that I think Nick did a great job stripping it down to the frame. Got rid of bad contracts, got back the draft picks, got rid of the
found
coaching.
Some hidden gems as well.
Yeah, found some gems to build around. So, yeah, I think we trade him for a haul, and I think it's a historic haul. I really do. And
like a Herschel Walker type.
Yeah, I would assume. Yeah, that's what I would think. I mean, I wouldn't trade him for anything less. Herschel Walker was a running back.
Right. All right, Crenshaw. You got one right this year. So what's your bold prediction, hot take?
I'm gonna say my hot take is we fire the running back coach and hire Anthony Lynn to be the running back coach.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Okay. That would be awesome. I'm gonna stay with you on the running backs. I'm gonna say we draft Hall from Iowa State in the late second round from one of the trades for Deshaun. So
Brees Hall, that's my guy right there.
Me too.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So, well, guys, again, thank you for coming on, James. Tell everybody where we can find you on social media so they can check out your awesome work.
Yeah, absolutely. You can follow me on Twitter at young_Ari Gold. I think it's either that or young_Ari_Gold. Honestly, I don't know, but type in young Ari Gold. You'll follow him. You'll find me. You can follow the podcast and YouTube at Houston FB Pod. And then you can find the podcast on any of the podcast platforms. We have a website. We do quite a bit of writing and things of that nature too. So, yeah, you guys can follow me there. I really appreciate you guys having me on. And if you guys ever want me on again, just hit me up.
Oh man, for sure. It's been a blast. Crenshaw, tell us where we can find you at, man.
You can find me at 5th Ward Crenshaw everywhere.
You know, I love you pissing off the idiot Texan fans. I'm just glad you do that. You know, it's been a blast this whole season. So make sure you follow these guys. I need to change my name because we canceled them. Yep. But right now, you can find me at Cancel Tim Kelly. You can find the podcast everywhere at Texan Fan Battle, and then you can find our sports network, Fan Battle Sports. Till next time, guys.
Hold on. Before we leave, one quick thing. One quick thing. Now, James, who was saying crumble is better than tip treats?
Bruh, who
was saying that?
Pat, Biggie, a bunch of. Actually, let me find the list. Yeah, let me find that real quick. Hold on. Let me see. I got it right here. My mentions are crazy today, obviously, but let me see. Where are they? I know it was Figgy. I also know it was Patrick Storm, of course, but he's just an idiot. Everybody was saying it. Crumble. This is what it is. You want a classic cookie? You want like a real cookie? You go to Tiff's Treats. You get them hot, delivered in an aluminum foil box, and they're delicious. You want something crazy with a Sour Patch Kid on top with some frosting? You go to Crumble. But I don't like my cookies like that. I want them like Mama made them. I want them to be. That's what I want. I don't want a cake. I want a cookie.
Yeah, soft, moist.
Yeah, a glass of milk, cold glass of milk, and just bam.
You don't want no special. You don't want no special edition cookie. You just want hot, old school cookie.
Yeah, I don't want all that. I don't want like they be doing crazy stuff with their cookies, bro. It's too much. I don't even like frosting. I'm not a big frosting guy. So if you're gonna throw a bunch of frosting on a cookie, I'm not gonna eat it anyways, unless it's like a sugar cookie. But Tiff's Treats, hands down, bro. Hands down.
Man, I miss Tiff. I miss it. So I live up here in Kansas City. Of course, they don't have it.
They aren't up there?
No. And you can't even find a kolache up here. Like it. Yes. I said kolache at a donut store, and they're like, "What's that?" I was like, "Wow, you're killing me. You don't know how much money you would make just off of me alone. Like, you need to learn what it is." I miss Houston so much. I need to come back. Yeah. Also, before I forgot to mention, next week we would have Houston rap legend Lil Kiki coming on the show.
What?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Shit.
Make sure
wow. All right. I didn't know y'all were doing it like that. Jesus. I feel
small
time being on here now.
Hey, we're more than a podcast. We're a culture, James. We got to keep up with the culture.
if you guys get Bun on, you just have to let me at least sit. Just sit. Oh, no. Actually, forget that. I don't even want to be on here if Bun comes. If Cam comes, I just want to sit at the bottom where, like, you don't see that I'm in and just listen. Yeah. Listen live. That's it.
We're trying, man. We're trying to get out, we're, like I said, we're about the culture, so we're trying to get more than just sports. So
Cam is my favorite MC out of Houston.
Really? I'm a road guy.
Oh, zero? Yeah. I so I'm from California originally. Okay. So the Houston culture, like chopped and screwed, I'll get blasted. It's just not unless you grow up in Houston and you're surrounded by that, it really just doesn't hit like it does while growing up in the city. It's just the way it works. And so growing up in LA,
I play here in Kansas City, and people just look at me stupid. Like,
and so I grew up on Dre, Snoop, West Side Connection, Tupac. Like that was that's my genre. And then coming to Houston, I remember first hearing "In Love with My Money" by Paul Walker.
Okay.
I was like, this is hard. I was like, oh my God. And then I just fell in love with Chameleon ever since. He's always been one of my favorite rappers. I wish he would have joined Slaughterhouse like they said he was going to, but that dude's an MC that could. He's got bars.
Oh yeah,
and I love his free mixes. Like the free mixtapes were like
the King Cooper mixtapes are one
King
of the
Cooper mixtapes are amazing. But when he did the free mixes where he like took off artists' verses and then inserted himself, like he did Fast Lane with Royce and M, and I was like, oh, the fact that you could just slide on this without any effort is wild to me.
The fact that he can rap without cursing, that's wild to me.
That too. Yeah.
That's cold.
We had a little a couple months back on here, and it was
that's dope.
Yeah, it was pretty fantastic. So we're pretty pumped about Lil Kiki. And then
if Jay Prince comes on, don't send me a link. Don't invite me to the show. Don't ask me to retweet anything. I don't want to have anything to do with it at all. I don't even want to know that you guys interviewed him. Okay?
That's great. We're promised. We won't do that to you there, James.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And
I got too much people looking up to me.
And then the week after that, we're doing a mock draft. So James, if you're interested in doing a mock draft,
let me know.
Trades, everything is off the table. So
okay, I'm down.
All right. Well, guys, again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.